Up in the ring, ring announcer Boyd Pierce. Let's pick him up.
This event for the U.S. American Heavyweight Championship, 2 out of 3 falls with a 1-hour time limit. Introducing first from Mexico, 230 pounds, the challenger, Halcón. Across the ring, Playboy Gary Hart presents from Singapore, the American Heavyweight Champion, the Masked Spoiler, your referee, Danny McShane.
So Gary Hart's Spoiler, tough man to wrestle, one of the all-time top-rated masked men in this country, up against a top-notch Mexican star, former Mexican national heavyweight champion, El Halcón. This one for the belt that Danny McShane is displaying, but let's just change that, because Halcón is telling these fans and Gary Hart that he is about to win that belt. So the bell sounds with Halcón impatient to move in on the Spoiler. 2 masked men. One from Mexico, one from this country, and both of them solid, rugged individuals, capable. And the referee, former world's light heavyweight champion, former world's junior heavyweight champion, Irish Danny McShane. As Halcón moves in, he forces his weight in against Spoiler, but Spoiler up against that ropes is a hard man to control. He's a man who knows how to use the ropes, and as is obvious right there, he's a man who knows how to use his fists too. Trouble for Halcón as Spoiler again keeps the ropes where they can do part of his wrestling for him. So Halcón bouncing around, looking for an opportunity to maneuver. Hard landing. 3 points, but one of them is the place where your hips are, and that hurts. Good work by Halcón. That arm drag and that throw, perfectly executed, and he lands and lands hard. So Gary Hart might well have something to worry about, because here is his man, his meal ticket, his champion about whom he has bragged considerably, and with good reason. Spoiler is worthy of accolades, even the kind that Gary Hart gives them. Some of the things that Hart can say are tough to live up to. The crowding by the Spoiler. Spoiler broke his hold there, but he kept Halcón in the corner. McShane was tolling the count, which meant disqualification if he didn't break. So he broke the hold, crowded against Halcón, and kept him bottled up. Halcón trying to set the Spoiler up, and set him up he does. Oh, he landed hard. But you've got to do more than just shake the Spoiler up in order to pin him. Here he is with crucifix hold. Halcón using, and those legs just toppled over there just a little bit too far. Spoiler crowding and pounding. The Spoiler moves in that corner. You see him put one leg up on the rope. He is planning his next move, but then decided to change it. Here he is. He's moving in there again. Spins around to come down on top of Halcón's head with that elbow. He's one of the few men who can descend on his opponent. In this case, even coming down and grabbing a Falcon. Front headlock for Spoiler. Halcón gets that grinding motion on his neck and keeps. Watch that top rope again. Here comes Spoiler climbing the ropes, moving up on them, and all the way up on the top rope. And he took advantage of it as he went past. He snapped the head of the Falcon down, and the throat hit the rope. Here is Spoiler's aerial attack, and Halcón's in trouble. Serious trouble now. That's a lot of weight, 275 pounds, landing on the Falcon. There is the bell to end the first fall. And the man who wins the first fall.
The winner in 4 minutes, 52 seconds, the champion, the Spoiler.
Just under 5 minutes, the Spoiler. We'll be back here in a moment. We'll have more action for you right after we have this word from the studio. Well, up in the ring, Spoiler, who has been bugging and battering Halcón
15 seconds.
all during the brief intermission period.
10.
While Gary Hart kept the referee occupied and
5,
unaware.
4, 3, 2, 1. The bell.
There goes the bell. Start the second fall, and Halcón come off there with a cross chop that was beautifully placed. And instead of being on the receiving end of the punishment, he has suddenly turned the tables on the Spoiler in great fashion. Sledgehammer type blow, and Spoiler is the man down right now. In behind the Falcon with a reverse chin lock. And he timed that beautifully, and great work by Falcon. He took a chance and it paid off. That leaping and that jumping put the Spoiler right where Falcon wanted him, and he was able to hurl him over and drop him down. So right here, Hart patting Spoiler on the back, whispering in his ear and telling him, and I'm sure they're not sweet nothings, but he is giving him encouragement. There's not much that Gary Hart can tell Spoiler. Spoiler knows the wrestling game and has been in it long enough to make good use of all of his knowledge. But Gary Hart can and does distract the opponent, the referee, and he does encourage Spoiler. Some of his men he berates, some he encourages, some he advises. But Spoiler knows his wrestling, and surely Gary Hart is adept at the art of managing. This could be a fall. There's one. He's got a leg scissor on him there, but he is not interested in that. He is trying to turn this into a pinning hold. There is the grip on the trunks, and Danny McShane warns Spoiler to break it. So as the Falcon gets up, he does the twist. Pressure on that hand, and he's smart enough to follow it up. He's got a combination grip on him there. It's the far arm that he is counting on. There it is, hammerlock, and he comes around to grapevine one leg and to take that arm. Here he is, slowly climbing up into a hold that could force the Spoiler into submission. He's got literally a half Nelson with his legs, and he is jerking that arm up in a way that could force the Spoiler into submission. But Spoiler may have gotten enough out of that left arm of his to, oh, he did. Oh, man, how he fell. He fell solidly and hard and hit his head. Second, Tom Pritchett over there trying to talk to him until the cobwebs get away, but the Falcon landed. And I want to tell you, he landed in a heap. Yes, where he's holding his head right there in the back, and he's having trouble. Here he comes. As he gets up, some of these fans breathe a sigh of relief as he moves around the ring trying to find a way to get back in. Halcón tied up in the ropes. Spoiler aiming to see that he stays there and aiming for his jaw at the same time. He came over that by himself. Spoiler was going to lift him over, and he's trying a straight out body block, and that's the hard way to give a tackle. You get all the shock yourself, but sometimes it's effective. Top man is the Spoiler after that body slam, but not good enough to pin him. Here he comes again, and this time the Falcon manages to wrap him up in a... There it is, and a jackknife, and he tied him up completely. Halcón with a neat bit of wrestling know-how.
Second ball, 5 minutes, 3 seconds. The challenger, Halcón.
He took full advantage of the situation that time, and beautifully. He tied him up tight and equalized falls. So with Halcón moving into that corner, he had to defend himself against the Spoiler. Spoiler was ready to battle him. Gary Hart in the ring. It means trouble. We'll be back here in a moment after we have this word from the studio. Well, Spoiler is in the corner repenting, and here before the start of the third fall, Halcón has been pacing back and forth vigorously and anxiously, and as the bell starts for that final and deciding fall, Halcón is about ready to move in. This is a big man he's got to grab and over whom he must take control. The old pump handle hold to snap that arm down across the shoulder. And again, he gets it in there and manages to work it. Remember, the U.S. American title is at stake. And as Halcón works on Spoiler's arm, he has his best chance of winning that belt. There's a long leg and a big foot that caught him that time. Spoiler trying to defend himself with the deft use of his feet. Halcón has a habit of looking at the fans, trying to get what they would like to see happen to Spoiler. And sometimes that split-second hesitation can mean trouble for you. Japanese leg lock. If he can turn him over, if he can't, he turns this into a backbreaker. He's got a leg in the small of the back. And putting the pressure on. Spoiler's in trouble. You see that hand underneath him is really stymieing his movement. He's trying to slide that one out. He's caught in a half twist. So Halcón trying to tie him up in crab fashion. Backbreaker type hold as he moves him forward. He inches those legs up. Spoiler could be forced to capitulate. It's close. Gary Hart, with his nose right down on the canvas here, is a worried look on the part of him that I can see. And as Halcón puts the pressure on those feet, Danny McShane looks for a sign from Spoiler suddenly finds himself in a brand new hold. Again, working on the small of the back. That reverse chin lock. And the fact that he has his weight right down in the small of the back. You see him sitting astride the most prominent part of the spoiler in the rear and working his weight forward. And now he's going at the spoiler's mask. Spoiler, like all masked men, will fight like blazes to avoid having his mask pulled. You see those laces being stripped from Spoiler's mask, and there is the turnover, and he's going for the pin. He's got him jackknifed, and he's got him really put down, but the referee was bowled over, and they didn't get the count. Halcón trying now to set the spoiler up if he possibly can. He got that cross chop in there, and he got it in great. Drop kick was placed all right, but no, he never should have done it, and he knows it now. And there's no use of my telling him that he never should have done that, but it looked like a tempting target. Here comes Spoiler for the iron claw, and Halcón fighting, twisting, and gets out of it. He did a complete turn of his body, and that's the manner in which he managed to get out. There it comes with the claw again. This time he's going into the Spoiler, driving toward him. That's two efforts at the claw hold that he has broken, but now in this standing position he may have even more trouble. And Spoiler ripping the mask of Halcón, and Halcón's head is half exposed. The mask is ripped, and he has ripped it to put the claw on the Falcon, so that because it was slipping evidently on the mask, and Halcón is trying to drive up to a standing position, and he does. Outside the ring, Gary Hart shouting to the Spoiler. 5 minutes have gone by in this third and deciding fall of this battle for the U.S. American title. El Halcón is in trouble, very much in trouble, and there's a man's in trouble too. And Halcón now has not yet given up to that grip on his head. Listen to the uproar of that crowd now as Halcón still has life left in him, and as he goes after Spoiler, and he's going after Spoiler's mask. Well, nobody ever died from having their mask taken off, but there is this thing about having his mask ripped, and I'm sure that this bugs El Halcón, and that's why he's keeping after the mask. Tough break for the Spoiler. His body halfway through there slams in, and Gary Hart's in the ring. And I think we're going to have a disqualification as Gary Hart is thrown out of the ring. The winner on a disqualification is El Halcón, and here is Spoiler now fighting for his mask as Halcón goes after the mask. El Halcón determined that he's going to rip the... He's got the mask off. Spoiler is down. Gary Hart has thrown his coat over the head of the Spoiler. This place has gone crazy. A tremendous uproar. Listen to the uproar. Look at the turmoil. Gary Hart puts his coat over the head of the Spoiler. The Spoiler has not lost his title. He has lost the match on a disqualification, but the Halcón, who has the mask of the of the spoiler stomps on it in the middle of the ring. The match goes to El Halcón. Here is a man who has taken a victory over a champion and who is proud of it. El Halcón. El Halcón. There he is. He's got the trophy and he's going to keep it. We'll be back here in a moment after this word from the studio.